Argentina is famous for four things. Mendoza, especially. Argentina is the red meat eating capital of the world because it's, again, cattle country. So the steaks are amazing and extremely inexpensive. The wine everywhere. If you go into a grocery store, you can buy a bottle of wine and a bottle of water. The wine will be less expensive every time. Ice cream is another one. Homemade ice cream. You can find ice cream everywhere. It's amazing. And the chocolate, which is my downfall. I really love the Argentine chocolate.
All right, so today we are heading down to the amazing country of Argentina in a particular area that I've always been intrigued with, and I'm interested in learning more. Mendoza, the wine country, is where we're going to visit with my new friend Guy Murphy. Guy, thanks for doing the podcast.
No problem. Happy to help.
All right, man. So let's start a little bit by you introducing yourself. Give us a little backstory about where you're from and how you guys landed in this amazing, beautiful destination.
Well, let's see. I was born in Emmett, Idaho, a small town about 30 miles outside of Boise. Went to school in Idaho, was raised primarily on the West Coast, Idaho, Oregon, a little bit of time in Washington State and California, but mostly it was Idaho and Oregon. Met my wife when I was a student at Boise State. We've been together. Our 27th anniversary just came and went. And we have, in the time we've been together, we've traveled all over the lower 48 states. We've seen them all. We then went to the Philippines for 3 months to give that a shot. Had a blast. Love the Philippines. Again, the most common complaint about the Philippines is that it's just simply too hot. So we rolled the dice and decided on South America. We knew that Buenos Aires was too large a city for us. I mean, it's 15 or 16 million people. It's a big city. So we were looking at three cities, Mendoza, Cordoba, and Salta were our three picks. At the time that I was doing the research, Salta, my research led me to believe that Salta was a good option, but the city itself was slightly more run down, slightly more deteriorated than the other two. We looked at Cordoba and decided against that one because there was some violence going on. I have no idea how rough the violence actually was, but having zero experience in the area, I assumed that any violence was something I wanted to avoid. So we thought we'd start out in Mendoza.
That's great. Well, let me back up a bit. How did you guys, of all the countries in South America, select Argentina? What stood out about Argentina?
It was the ease of getting the visas, both the retirement visa and what was the other one we were looking at?
The Resista.
The Resista. Yeah. So between the two of those, and then the fact that in Argentina, if you overstay your visa, it's no big deal. The lady that we rent this apartment from, she came here 2 years ago, overstayed her visa, and has never left the country, never had any issue with it at all. She knows that when she does leave, she has to pay a $40 fine. But it doesn't matter if you overstay your visa by 10 minutes or 10 years, the fine is the same, $40. So,
okay. So you're referring to the tourist visa.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. So when you get the tourist visa, I think it's good for what, 90 days? Is that correct?
Yeah. You're good for 90 days. And then you have the option of either extending your visa, which I think runs about $20, or you can bounce out of the country and back. And I know of guys who in, say, Buenos Aires, will literally take the ferry to Uruguay, have lunch, get their visa, get their passport stamped, and then turn around and come back same day, and nobody bats an eye. Here in Mendoza, it's more common to fly to Santiago, Chile, which is about an hour flight. Or if you want to take the bus, it's about a 4 hour bus drive. Now, what a lot of people do, and we've considered it ourselves, import taxes are kind of steep here in Argentina. So taking the plane to Chile, spending a day or two shopping, and then jump the bus back, you can come back with a bunch of stuff that you need for your apartment, or that you might have friends or somebody in the area that needs,
Mhm.
and so you can pick up some stuff for them out of country. So it
Okay.
really helps a lot.
So Mendoza, yeah, it's a distance out there, and it's close to the Chilean border, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
yeah.
show that on a map. So it's a 4 hour bus ride to Santiago from Mendoza.
Yeah, it's now my wife is correcting me. She's telling me it's 8 hour drive. Is it eight really? I didn't realize it was that long a bus drive. Okay,
Okay,
so
so
I
it's
guess
eight
maybe
hours. How about going to Cordoba from Mendoza or Buenos Aires on a bus? How long does that take? Do you guys know?
I've never really looked into that. I wouldn't know how
Okay.
long it would take. Um, uh, yeah, we haven't visited either Cordova or Salta, or we really haven't, honestly haven't even been out of the city much. Once we got here, our focus was on getting set up, getting
Mhm.
our apartment comfortable so that we could live a life similar to what we're used to in the States,
Yeah.
and meeting the people. There are some amazing people here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's dive into the big question is why did you leave in the first place? What was it
Well,
about that you leaving the US where you felt it was time to go and try something abroad?
there were a bunch of different reasons that all kind of brought us to that point. One of them was, financial. My wife and I are both on disability, and the cost of everything in the States is just skyrocketing. But it's skyrocketing everywhere else in the world too.
Yeah.
Um, we can stretch our disability checks a lot further in uh, uh, outside of the country, the Philippines or South America or Southeast Asia, wherever we decide to go.
Yeah.
We just have more available resources. Also, there's the political crap that was going on at the time. We decided that we didn't want to be any part of that mess. There was uh, so many different things.
Yeah.
I think that the U.S. is in for a large, substantial change is
Mhm.
coming very soon, and I don't want to be in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that. The number one reason I pulled this a few times with polls online, and it's always people are leaving. The number one reason is the cost of living. It's so
Yeah,
costly to live in the U.S. that is the main reason people are looking to figure out how they can live comfortably in their later years, and they're going
absolutely.
abroad. And a lot of people in Canada are doing the same thing because Canada's so expensive as well now. So it's an
My
interesting movement right now.
my neighbor right here is from Canada.
Yeah, it's you look at Mexico and all over Central and South America, a lot of U.S. citizens, a lot of Canadians are moving south. It's
Yeah.
a
Well,
fascinating, yeah,
it's happening in the UK too. I mean, there's
it
loads of
is.
people here from the UK,
Yep,
and a few from even Russia. Australia, also
yep,
the big one. People are leaving Australia in
it
droves.
is. Yep, yeah. There's a lot of changes
Australia everywhere is
happening.
looking for a cheaper way to get by.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned that you picked Argentina for the ease of residency. What can you tell us about residency process and the visa that you guys are looking to obtain?
The one that we want is a retirement visa.
Okay.
It's called a pensionado.
Yep.
And really, the only requirements are you have to make three times the current minimum wage in the country, which is about $500. So as long as your retirement is, your pension, whatever it is, whatever source it comes from, is $1,500, you're fine.
Okay.
So now, and that can be a combination of, say, your Social Security payment, and if you've got a place that you're renting out in the States, those two things combined are fine. If you've got some, I don't know, investments in bonds or stocks, something that's paying you on a regular basis. As long as you can prove you're clearing $1,500 a month, it doesn't matter where the money comes from.
You will qualify.
Yeah.
Is there an age requirement?
Not that I know of. I
Okay.
think that it's 55 for men and 50 for women, but
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. That's something I'd have to look into.
All right, great. Well, let's dive into rentals. So you guys moved down there. You moved to this beautiful area, Mendoza. Um, were you impressed with the landscape of Mendoza? It's wine country. Like I said, I've never been there. I don't know if it kind of emulates idea of like Tuscany or not, but I hear it's very beautiful. I've seen some imagery. And also, what do rents start out there? You guys look like you have a nice rental.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Uh, as far as the area and the climate, it will remind you a lot of Nevada if you've ever been, in that area.
Yep.
It's a very deserty climate, a lot of
Okay.
rocks, sand. There is some shrub out there, but yeah,
The city's got lots of trees.
yeah. Inside the city of Mendoza, there are trees everywhere because when the city was, building the new departments, they made sure to plant trees on every block, hundreds of them, literally. There are trees everywhere. There's parks everywhere. We've been here 7 months, and I think I've been to like four of the parks, and there are dozens of them out there.
Hmm.
Topography, I guess, if that's the word I'm looking for. It looks like a lot, Arizona, Eastern Oregon, most of Southern Idaho. It's the desert.
Yeah. Is
So
it mountainous at all, Guy?
you've got a pretty good view of the Andes.
Okay.
We're kind of at the base of the Andes Mountains, and I mean, I could step out my door here, and if I had a clear view, I'm sure I could still spot snow on the mountains in the Andes. It's summertime here, by the way, so
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
it's averaging 90, 95 degrees here every day. Whereas back in the States, it's middle of winter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. So, what are rents starting out at in Mendoza for all the viewers that are interested in looking and retiring and possibly moving down there?
Um, Again, that really depends upon your level of comfort. You can rent a okay place for a couple of $100 a month. You could rent a nice apartment for 400 a month. I mean, you could rent a super nice condo for 1,200 a month.
It also depends if it's furnished or unfurnished.
Yeah, furnished or unfurnished does have an impact on that. This one that we're staying in, this is a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. It's about 80 square meters, I think,
Okay.
something in there. What is
It's closer to like 60.
you think it's closer to 60? Okay, my wife is correcting me. She's always good for
Okay.
that. Yeah, we have two rules in my house. Number one, I'm not allowed to handle money. Number two, if I say anything, I need to be corrected because I was mistaken.
So you guys
No,
have a two bed, 1 bath.
yeah, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. It's
$550 a month.
it's comfortable. We pay $550 a month.
Okay.
When we rented the place, that included all of our utilities, water, internet,
Oh, wow.
everything was all included in that $550 a month. But the owner of the property had to make some changes in that. It no longer completely covers the electric bill. The five and change that we pay a month. She pays the first $35 of the power bill. Anything beyond that is up to us to pay. And I
Okay.
think last month we paid $15.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
it's,
today we'd like to thank our sponsor, Traveling Mailbox. Why we like Traveling Mailbox? Traveling Mailbox is a way to create a virtual address anywhere in the United States that works the same as a physical address. Now, what we love about it is that if you live in a state that charges a state income tax and you move abroad, you're still going to pay tax on your pension or income. But traveling mailbox allows you to change your address to one of the 9 states that does not charge a state income tax. That will save you thousands of dollars each year, and over time could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're moving abroad and you're starting your new life, why throw money away that you don't need to? If you want to learn more, scan the QR code on the screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. So you guys got a 2-bedroom apartment in this beautiful part of Argentina and you're basically paying $565 a month, and that covers all your utilities. That's unreal. That's really unreal.
Well, the apartment complex that we live in is kind of I want to call it a gated community, because you walk up to the main entrance to get into the apartment complex. There's a great big steel gate there. Yeah. Once you're past that, you get into kind of the walkway, where, you go in, you kind of make a right-hand turn. And there's the space where the parking, if you want a vehicle, you can park there. There's a covered parking lot area there. And then there's a grassy area where the owner's got some palm trees and cactuses. There's another off to just literally right outside my door. There's a great big communal barbecue area where you can do cookouts, and we've had them out there for the entire community. Nice. And we, if we're just cooking for ourselves, we cook indoors, but it's not uncommon for everybody to be having a big barbecue out there. We go out there and play cards. We have a weekly card game that we play. My wife and I kind of host it, but most of the occupants most of the expat occupants here in this apartment complex come to it, with us. And then there's a few people that don't live here in the complex, that either have previously lived here or that we've bumped into in one form or another, in our excursions. We went to a wine tasting at one of the wineries here in town, met a couple of really great couples, and they sometimes come to join us just, to play cards.
Yeah, that's great.
Things like that.
That's awesome.
Just a friendly game. I thought the language barrier would be a bigger obstacle here than it turned out to be. We use Google Translate on our phone whenever absolutely necessary, but a surprising number of people in South America do speak at least some English.
Yeah, well, that's
Keep that
great.
in mind if you're traveling around the city and you want to say something in private to your wife, as far as, hey, I think the cab driver's, running the bill up. Yeah, chances are your cab driver speaks English and he just told you he doesn't. So
right, sure. Let me ask you this, Guy. How did you guys identify the rentals? How did you start exploring and looking at rentals? Did you do that online? Is there a site that you used, or did you contact some agent that lives down there?
No, we started out, we just got an Airbnb in the area for a couple of weeks, and used that couple of weeks to start looking around for other rentals. The rental that we found, the apartment wasn't quite ready the day we moved in. So the owner put us up in another smaller unit until this one was ready. It took about a week, 10 days, something like that.
Yeah. Where did you find the listing? Where did you see these listings of apartments down there in Mendoza?
I just literally posted an ad on Facebook and some of my face group marketplace groups.
Okay.
One of them was expats in Mendoza, or expats in Argentina.
Gotcha.
And there's different Facebook sites in every city you're going to go to. So just get on Facebook in that area and put on what you're looking.
There is a website you can use for it. It's called Zona Prop.
My wife is informing me that there is a website you can use called Zona Prop.
Yes. Yeah, Zona Prop's the big, you can purchase real estate off of it in Argentina as well. But you guys, that's smart. I mean, so you guys actually just joined a Facebook group in Mendoza, and then you just put out the question, hey, we're looking for an apartment. Anybody? And then you got responses.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very common way to do it because I see ads on there every day. of
Yeah.
people that are coming in, going to be here for a few months or a few weeks or whatever,
Right.
looking for a place. Yeah, if it's not an Airbnb though, renting here can be a bit tough because they do require a bunch of paperwork and guarantors and that kind of stuff. We were fortunate in that the gal who manages this complex doesn't require any of that. We literally just gave her the first month's rent and moved in. No deposit, no nothing.
No deposit, nothing. Okay.
No nothing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great information. Do they cover the Wi-Fi as well? Is that included in the
Yeah.
utilities?
Yep. Wi-Fi is included.
Wow.
The cables included. I hook my computer. I use a VPN so I can watch all of my American shows.
Yeah.
And then I hook that into my computer, into my TV, so I can watch them on the larger screen.
Mhm.
And I almost never use the local cable, but we do have it.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So we get
All right. And then you
300.
Hmm?
I think we get 300 meg per minute on our internet speed.
That's better than what I
So,
have here.
yeah.
All right, cool. So you guys, and you mentioned, okay, we already touched on groceries. You guys spend approximately 500 for the three of you because your son's down there. But
Yeah.
how much so you said 500 for groceries. Um, what do you anticipate like an individual would pay for a retiree considering moving down there solo?
Again, it depends upon your diet. I eat like a king. I'm a big guy. I eat a
Yeah.
lot of steaks. I eat a lot of, unhealthy stuff. I gained about 12 pounds in my first 3 months in Argentina.
Okay.
So, yeah, for me and my family, $500. Again, we eat like kings.
Yeah.
An individual on a budget could probably do very well with a grocery bill. I would say between 175 and $200 could
Yeah.
easily cover your cost for groceries for the month.
Yeah. Okay. And that,
Without that,
a lot of people don't know that, but like know the aspect that steak is a popular cuisine and it's cattle country down in Argentina. In
yeah,
Uruguay, it's just cattle country. And so, how is the steak down there? What's your thoughts on the
amazing. I mean,
Amazing.
no joke. I have had the opportunity in my life to eat Wagyu beef once. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the best steak I ever had.
Mm.
This place, every steak is second place to that.
Wow.
They're amazing down here. We just went to a barbecue. One of the locals that we met when we first moved to Argentina, my friend Roberto, we went to a barbecue for his wife's birthday. And Roberto cooked up a bunch of steaks on the grill. Literally, the only seasoning he used was salt.
Yeah.
And the steaks were amazing. He just sprinkled a little bit of salt across it. Oh man, they were good. Argentina is famous for four things. Mendoza, especially. Argentina is the red meat eating capital of the world because it's again cattle country. So the steaks are amazing and extremely inexpensive. The wine everywhere. If you go into a grocery store, you can buy a bottle of wine and a bottle of water. The wine will be less expensive every time.
That's crazy.
So, ice cream is another one. Homemade ice cream. You can find ice cream everywhere. It's amazing. And the chocolate, which is my downfall. I really love the Argentine chocolate.
Yeah.
I got turned off to sweets and stuff in the States because honestly, it's just too much sugar in every bite.
Yeah.
Down here, they don't use near as much sugar, and it's got a lot more flavor to it. It's just phenomenal.
Hmm. How much is a bottle of wine in Mendoza?
On a bottle of wine, you can find them for $1.
Wow.
Yeah, the average bottle of wine is going to run you about, for a decent wine that's not super expensive, $6 maybe.
Yeah.
So, but my wife is a wine drinker. Honestly, I'm a whiskey fan. I drink whiskey a lot.
Okay.
And the whiskey that I buy, 80 proof. It's the local name on it. About, let's see, 6,000 pesos. So that's about $5 American for a fifth of whiskey.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So it gives me the opportunity because one of my favorite ways to spend an evening after I've been out doing my thing all day is I'll come back here, flop down in my recliner, put my feet up, pour myself a glass of whiskey, watch some TV and just snuggle with my wife. That's my favorite way to spend the evening.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice, man. All right. Cool. So how are you guys getting around down there? What's the transportation like? Do they have ride share? Do they have any kind of public transportation?
Yeah, they have that. If you're, traveling to do anything, there's a weekly meeting for expats at the Believe Irish Pub. It's on 8 o'clock on Wednesdays. You can take a cab or Uber or whatever you want to that. Other than that, though, there really isn't a great deal of need for transportation. So, within a block of my house, there are several small convenience stores, two butchers, a bakery, two bakeries, a really nice deli where we go to buy all of our lunch meat and cheeses. Um, there's even a pool hall. One of my wife's and my favorite pastime is shooting pool. There's a pool hall 2 blocks from here.
So it sounds like it's a very walkable city, Mendoza.
Oh yeah, super walkable. Yeah, unless something comes up where you need to go across town, like I said, for that meeting at the Believe Irish Pub, you
Mhm.
really don't need a vehicle for anything.
Yeah.
And on the occasion when you do need a vehicle, a $2 Uber ride will take you anywhere in the city you need to go. If you get a doctor's appointment or something comes up,
Yeah.
bucks for an Uber and you're good to go.
Yeah, Guy, do you find that in any pocket of Mendoza that you choose to live in, it's kind of set up the same way, where you have those amenities and access to the stores and pubs and bakeries? They're all there within walking distance
Yeah,
wherever you're at.
not only is that the rule of thumb here in Mendoza that everything is so conveniently located, but my understanding after talking to a lot of other expats and whatnot in the area is it's pretty much the same everywhere.
Yeah.
Salta, Cordoba, Buenos Aires, all of these small communities have all of their own little, stores and things to fit the necessity. Anytime somebody can find a spot and go, okay, well, I think I can make a decent living setting up this here, it gets set up. There's no trouble with the zoning and that kind of stuff. So
Okay, great. And what would you say, like, if you have to take transportation, what do people pay to get around? Do you know anything about the bus system and what you'd pay to?
there is a bus stop, again, literally less than a block from here. And I believe it's 17 cents,
No,
Okay.
it's 850 pesos,
850 pesos.
and that covers your first 90 minutes of riding.
Okay, so you can get on the bus for an hour and a half, go anywhere in the city you want to go for 850 pesos. And how much is that in American?
Like 85 cents.
About 85 cents.
Okay. So 85 cents per ride.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
And
very
literally
reasonable.
go anywhere in the city you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Okay. All right. Let's dive into the restaurants. So, I mean, at a local, my viewers, they're always interested. It's just like a local Argentinian ma and pa neighborhood restaurant. What are you going to pay for a meal at one of these places?
Well, let's see. What's the name of the one right around the corner?
Chirico. That's
Chirico's?
not really a mall.
Yeah, that's more of that's the Applebee's of Argentina.
Okay.
And a meal in there for two is going to run you 15 or 20 bucks. A more, local sit down, that shawarma outfit that we love in town. What do we usually spend in there when we go in there?
25 to 30 bucks for two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, two people, $25, $30 covers, dinner, a bottle of wine, sometimes two, and a generous tip because I'm a generous tipper.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and that's something else. One of the other culture shocks. Tipping, especially here in Argentina, is unheard of. It's just not something that's commonly done. Typically, when you go to a restaurant or whatever, they automatically will add 10% to the bill as the tip. But anything past that, they don't do. I've had some trouble when we first got here trying to give my cabbie, a tip or just tell him to keep the change when he dropped us off at our location. They're pretty adamant. They don't want to keep the change. They want you to get your money back. This is what you agreed to pay. This is what you're paying. So,
Okay.
and that's not the case, like I said, in the Philippines. In the Philippines, they like Westerners, especially Westerner money. They'll take it in any way they can get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly different in every country. So let's, for
Yeah.
clarification, you said 15 to 20 at one particular restaurant around the corner. So would you say for a person that's like a meal, would the low end be like $7.50 for a meal that you can find in Argentina?
Yeah, if you wanted to go into a sit-down restaurant, 7, $8 is going to be about what you might expect to spend.
Okay.
If you're comfortable, let's say, for instance, you might go to the San Martin Park on a Saturday, because they've got all the vendors and stuff going, and there's just a lot to do there. My wife and I, that's one of our favorite parks to go to. But there's different vendors and stuff set up there that'll sell you everything from a local sandwich to Milanesa. Empanadas are super affordable down here. 50 cents or $1 for an empanada. My favorite is the ham and cheese empanadas. It's basically a roll up about the size of my fist.
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm not a small guy. I got a big fist. So, yeah, on average, if you're going to go to any restaurant, you can expect to spend about 10 or $15 a person.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay, so entertainment. People are always curious about what can you do in Mendoza? What do they have for entertainment? Are there galleries? Are there museums? What do you guys know about that? Some people like the theater. They want to go see a play. Do they? And I'm guessing because I hear the metro area of Mendoza, including the metro area, is about 1 million people. So there's a lot of people in that particular region. So I'm guessing there's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
activities and things to do.
the overall Mendoza area is just a hair over 1 million. I think it's like 1.02. Um, but yeah, there's generally always something going on. Um, Going into town, you can find a disco show, or not a disco, a tango show, pretty much any night of the week. Tango's pretty popular.
Yeah.
There are several theaters. There's a cinema. There's 2 casinos, I want to say. There might be more than that. The one big casino is over by the mall, if that's your thing. There's always soccer games going on somewhere you can go catch. Um, I
There's museums.
Yeah,
and
there's a couple of museums there. I mean,
the vineyards.
yeah, there's the vineyards. Wine tasting is super huge here. Um,
Hiking.
yeah, there's hiking. There's
Wow, you guys are living
yeah,
in paradise.
yeah. What is your interest? I mean, there's always something here.
So Mendoza, it sounds like it offers pretty much everything. Do they have like a professional soccer stadium there, like a big soccer stadium?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think they've got a big one.
I don't think so.
There's one out by the highway, but it's not anything like a NFL Superdome or anything stadium.
Yeah.
It's a good sized soccer field.
Yeah. Now, have you guys done any of those things to any of the vineyards to do like any wine tasting, or have you experienced any of these tango shows or anything? And if so, what are the costs to participate in those
Um,
activities?
we went to a wine tasting. Again, I'm not a huge wine fan. My wife is the wine fan of the family. But we went to a wine tasting. I think it was $40 to go to the tasting. And then we bought a bottle of wine and brought it back here to the house, which was, I think, another $40.
Okay.
But this was one of the top end wineries in the area, and I bought the most expensive bottle of wine that they offered.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, so that's quite expensive because here, I mean, it's even less expensive than that to do wine tastings here in the
yeah,
US.
yeah, it was kind of a big deal.
And have you done any tango shows?
I've gone by, either driven by or walked by a few of them. But honestly, the shows, I've never been too impressed with tango.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who are, knock yourself out, but for me, it just doesn't interest me.
Well, I was going to ask you and your wife to do like a tango, like, just lesson real quick because we get more views if you guys started doing a tango.
No, I'm afraid that's not going to happen.
All right. Well, great. That's great information. It sounds like Mendoza is just an amazing place to live and be with all of the things to do there.
Well, like I said, when we first checked out Mendoza, we had Mendoza, Salta, and Cordoba were all on our list. For various reasons, we decided to give Mendoza a shot first. We came here, found everything that we expected it to be. In fact, it exceeded our expectations in a lot of ways. We were here for 3 months, had to go back to the States to take care of some property that I had there. Came straight back to Mendoza, and just don't see any reason to leave. I really enjoy it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Cordoba and Salta were definitely places that I had considered, but unless something drastic, happens, I see no reason in the world to leave Mendoza. I love it
Yeah.
here. I love the people. The conveniences that I was talking about, as far as everything is super walkable, super inexpensive. Brother, I'm in paradise. I
Yeah.
found the perfect spot for me.
Yeah.
Is it perfect for everybody? No,
Yeah.
but
Sure.
I like it. Another one of the things, and this is on a totally unrelated subject. A lot of people, when considering moving to any foreign country outside of the U.S. or Canada, one of the first things that they ask about is safety.
Mm.
In the 3 months that we were in the Philippines and the 7 months now that we've been in South America, I have never had even a single instance where it was even sketchy, nothing even scary. I've,
Yeah.
I've not bumped into any violence of any kind. Uh, in fact, most of the people that you bump into, in my experience, and it doesn't matter if it's at the airport, where you're going to meet people from all over the world, or the local pubs. Everybody that I've ever bumped into has always been super great people.
Yeah, it's a great point that you make because again, coming from the U.S., a lot of people have this idea that Latin America can be dangerous, and that's one of their reluctance to make the leap. But
Not my experience.
we're creating a video right now. We're putting together a video, and just to kind of back up what you said, Argentina is actually so there's a index called the Global Peace Index, and it
Yeah,
ranks countries every year of on violence and safety and everything else. The U.S. is ranked 129. The
yeah,
129 out of I forget
way down there.
how many countries are involved in the ranking system. Argentina's at 45. So it's
If memory
significant.
serves,
So
and it's been a
Argentina,
long.
based on that data, is significantly safer than the US. But there are
Yeah,
many of the countries that we cover are significantly safer than the US in South America. You
exactly.
include Uruguay and Chile and the list goes on and on that they're just overall based on the GPI, the Global Peace Index, they are safer than living in the US.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've taken a humanities course, but I believe there are like 207 sovereign countries on
Mhm.
this planet. And if America is ranking 129 for safety,
Yeah.
you're down the list, brother. You're
Yeah.
way down the list.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, Guy, the last thing that we cover is healthcare. So everybody that moves to another country, they're looking at the healthcare. They want to make sure that they're going to have some form of coverage, and it's not going to cost as much as it does in the U.S. because, as we know, living in the U.S. it's astronomical. So, what can you tell us about what you've found out about the healthcare in Argentina, and how can expats and retirees that are thinking about moving down there access it?
Healthcare actually falls into like three basic categories here. The least expensive, obviously, is it's free. You can walk into any hospital anywhere and receive, free treatment for any life-threatening, whatever's going
The
on.
public hospital.
Yeah,
And
public hospital.
that's the public healthcare system. It's
Yeah,
free
that's
for
public.
everyone. Okay.
So now, if you are in especially for an expat or for somebody who's got a little better financial means, you can get kind of the low end paid healthcare, which gets you into hospitals that are, I'm not going to say they're any better hospitals, because even the public hospitals are really good. Buenos Aires has some of the best doctors in the world. As far as the healthcare goes, the public hospitals in Argentina are easily as good as you're going to find in most places in the States. You would not be disappointed in most of the hospitals. And that's if you want to take advantage of the free healthcare. If you want to pay a few bucks for a monthly healthcare plan, that doesn't necessarily get you into a better hospital, because again, the hospitals are all pretty good. It just shortens your wait time.
Sure.
Whereas, I'm sure you've been to the hospital in the States. You go into an ER and you sit there for 4 hours before you ever see a doctor.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty much the way it is here in Argentina. You go into a hospital for something, chances are you're going to be sitting there for a while.
Okay.
Unless you, like I say, pay the extra few bucks to get, the slightly better health care that allows you access into hospitals that aren't quite so packed all the time. So you get in and get out a lot more quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to pay a slightly higher amount for your health care, you can get, better service, instantaneous.
Most people here do the pay as you go, though.
Yeah. My wife is correcting me. Most people here have a type of a pay as you go healthcare system where, you go into the hospital, they tell you what it's going to cost. That's actually what we use. If I need a doctor's appointment, I go in, tell them, hey, I need this checked out. I need that checked out, and it's, I don't know, $15 or something.
Yeah.
So it's,
let me ask, so here's my question. Are you guys able to, when you go to the doctors and you're saying you're going to pay $15-20 or whatever that is, does that mean that you're going to one of the private places rather than the public ones?
Yeah, that's a private doctor.
Okay. So, but you can still go to the public one, even though you are an expat living down there. You have access to that now.
Yeah, if I wanted to, if I were comfortable waiting the 4 hours, to get in to see a doctor, yeah, I could do that. Or for, $15, I can walk in, give them my name, tell them I need to see a doctor, and I'm usually in the doctor's office in about 10 minutes.
Okay. So that's a great option to pay out of pocket for the just checkups, things like that, to get in right away. And then if anything catastrophic happens, you still have the backup of the public healthcare system that is going to take care of you, and that's free.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, my next question is, you guys are on what visa? Is it the Pensionado visa?
Well, currently we're just here on a tourist visa.
So on the tourist visa, can you access the public health care? Can any expat or retiree living on that tourist visa immediately access the public health care system?
Yeah, you can get off the plane and go to the hospital if you want to.
Okay.
You could fly down here from the States, get off the plane and go to the hospital.
And it would be, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome information. Yeah. Have you looked at any real estate there, or what the cost of an apartment would be? Or
you can buy a condo, again, depending upon what part of the city you want to live in. There are, like any large city, city of 1 million people, you're going to find neighborhoods you don't want to be in. But in most of the nicer neighborhoods, you can get a pretty nice place for a reasonable expense. My friend Roberto, he just got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. For what did he get for it? 60 or 70? I think it was 70.
It was worth 70 or 80.
Yeah, I think it was 70,000, the equivalent of 70,000 US dollars.
Mm-hmm. And that's within the city?
That's within the city in one of the nicer neighborhoods. Really, I mean, a place that I would have no trouble raising my grandchildren in. It was a nice place.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. Prices are very impressive down there for sure. And the rentals, man, you get $550, including all the utilities.
Yeah, $550. I literally live in a luxury apartment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
with everything included. So
yeah. Okay. Well, Guy Murphy and your wife, I can hear you in the background. Thank you, guys.
Say hello, dear.
You're welcome.
She was absolutely adamant about not wanting to take part in this
No,
video,
that's
and then she's completely fine sitting off camera and correcting every word I say.
well, no, hey, I really appreciate it, you guys. I love Argentina, and I plan on visiting actually very soon to
Hey,
head down there. And so I appreciate everything you guys shared and all the tips you provided. It's very helpful for the viewers as well that are considering retiring or moving down to Argentina, and especially the beautiful area of Mendoza for the wine lovers. So thanks.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks for doing it, man. I appreciate it.
sure, no problem, man. Glad to help.